Hello, we feel that we need to make this video, and it's requested of us to make a video to explain why we need funding. Well, we have a residential property in New Zealand, Auckland, New Zealand, at a certain address, and we have a problem with a neighbour, next door neighbour, who is mentally slow. His English is terrible, and he keeps trespassing on the property. We have no fence. We've asked former Housing New Zealand, now calling the order, if they can build a fence. No, it's not within their budget. The landlady seems to think that we're making up stories, that the Indians next door are throwing rocks. Their kids are throwing rocks at the garden shed or the outside shed, or throwing their shoes on there. And the Indians we confronted next door, we own those children, think it's a joke. We've had neighbours at the back jumping the fence, or one in particular stealing items. One, the slower guy, pulling up the plants. He came to visit and he said something like, well, my sister said she talked to you and said that you said it's okay for him to come and rip up these taro plants, right? It's a Samoan delicacy or food that they eat over there, right? So we swapped taro plants for something else. A good deal, right? We grew them, and then he came over and he wanted to cut them. That's what we thought, cut the leaves off. So he said, yeah, you can cut the leaves off, no problem, because we don't really use them, you know. People who say, oh, we'll come and teach you how to use it for meals or whatever, they never come back, right? They never got around to it. So these things grew huge. They sort of get in the way, they overgrow the garden, whatever, right? So he said, yeah, you can cut them. But then he starts pulling them up. He said, no, we said you can cut them. Okay? But he starts pulling them up. And then we find that he put them in the rubbish bin for the rubbish collection the next day, because the taro roots on the end of it weren't actually like round and, you know, how we usually find them in shops here. Because they've been in the ground too long, apparently. Yeah, so come out the next day and he's taken all the plants, because we had some more growing. He's ripped them all up. And then, for some uncanny, unknown reason, put up a old bed barrier on the side fence by our garage. And he come back the next day, because we had a pumpkin plant there, etc. It was dying, so it's going yellow, it's dying, but the leaves were green, and there might be the chance that as it grows over the small fence, or around the small fence, it might grow some pumpkins. But the barrier had been thrown forward onto the grass, and he's leaned over the fence and ripped up that plant and put it in his rubbish bin. Okay, so the next day he comes over and there's this other palm tree thing that's growing from underneath the Muslim's fence, and he says it's a food in his country and all that sort of stuff. So I said, yeah, you can pull it up, cut it up, whatever, with a machete. So he pulls it up and takes it home. That's his business. If he eats it and something goes wrong, right? But he's continually walking across the property. These young underage teenagers from the school and daughter's friends, etc., that come over, they're 15, 16, or maybe a bit older, and he's like breathing on their neck from behind. They're sitting there alone, touching them and whispering sexual suggestions, right? So they're all scared to come here now. We've got hold of Kāinga Ora, Housing New Zealand, and us and build a fence. They said, no, not in the budget. So we've rung them. This lady's supposed to get back to us, but she didn't. We used to have teenagers come here and wreck the house, thinking it's a gang. They have a gang house and all that sort of stuff. Got rid of them, or else we would have had to pay. If it had been laid on us that we caused the damage that they did, we'd have to pay $500 a week, which for a month, which would be $2,000 for that damage, and we'd probably get kicked out, whatever. Okay, but we managed to sort that out and kick them while I kept them out. These like daughter's so-called friends, etc., etc. So we've been having problems like that. Still get the odd visitor that says I'll stay for a couple of days, end up staying for 3 weeks, right? Some people say, oh, you boot them out, all that sort of stuff. They're not really a problem, especially when their parents or their grandparents are so appreciative of me looking after them, or allowing them to, right? That they bring their own food, they supply food, all that sort of stuff. There's no problem. But others, yeah, they do want to come up every now and again knocking on our door and say, oh, can you give me money, lend me money for my cigarettes, I need some cigarettes or whatever, right? I got a boarder, ran away from a residential home or whatever, she hasn't got any money yet, she hasn't paid me any money, all this sort of stuff, and it's like, oh, we got another one, can you allow her to stay at your house, and all this sort of stuff. It's like, hey, she's got an abusive husband, all that. It's like, I don't think so. You know, many different stories, but they keep coming back, thinking we're the cash cow or ATM machine, so I had to get rid of that one. Got a bit grumpy one day, tired, making videos I suppose, and she's never been back since. But yeah, we get these kind of people that, you know, they say, oh, charity, right? Then it turns into, oh, you're the cash cow. So they're relying on you every week to supply them their addictions, right? Be it cigarettes or whatever. Okay, these places up the road, they can go to the welfare, social security, and apply for assistance, right? It's not our problem that they bring in all these boarders. These boarders don't pay anything. It's the charity. They've seen that, oh, charitable, so that, oh yeah, cool, I'll be able to, you know, sit around here, lay around here, reside here, and not pay a bean, not contribute, right? That sort of stuff. Because that person is really kind. She offered to pay for some guy's dog up the road, 3-legged dog that need vet treatment. The bills were like, I don't know, $1,500 or something. She was trying to get that, but the dog died. That's how kind she is. Silly in a way, but kind, and so forth. So we're trying to get funding, some help, funding to build fence. Right, we've got this information here. I'll put this local pamphlet. It's a Bunnings pamphlet. Right, let's take all the other stuff out so it doesn't fall out. And on one of these pages here, it has excuse us, it's junk because we deliver these papers to the local community. We have a picture which will probably be very, very hard here to see. It's specials on fencing, right? Fencing materials. Okay. Like from $25 to $69 to $99 each. Okay, actually hopefully that's the right page. Yeah, it pretty much is. No, it isn't. Okay, you have to find the right page. If it's not the right page, that's junk. Right. Find the right page. Well, unless this is an older one, I don't think so. I think it's the latest one. Yeah, where is it? Here somewhere. Okay, here it is. Okay, you can see here there's these different types of fencing. Okay, this one there at 67, it's quite high. I think it's made out of this one here 25, that's a bark one, right? Okay, and then there's another one up here, 67, and there's another one up the top here, right here, right there. It's like a leaf privacy screen, but it's like $99, right? So we can't really afford that because on our property, in the photo taken from Google Earth, we couldn't get it any more decent than that. We tried to get them real close so you could see the front of the house, the driveway, etc. There's no fence around the section, so this guy next door keeps walking on the property, or that sort of stuff, right? Trespassing, supposedly standing on the porch, small porch we got, just staring at the curtain because we found he had messed with the daughter when she was younger, but she didn't tell us till years later. So this guy, he's liking the little girls, etc., but he's never been caught and registered, never been put on the police register. So the family know that he's doing these sort of things, and we're wondering, because you see this guy walking around the neighbourhood with shades on, glasses on, thinking, is he casing up the street, the areas, right? Because this guy he goes door to door, property to property, and he'll take out rubbish bins for elderly people, etc. He just walks on there, gets the rubbish bins, takes them out. He thinks it's a kindness act. So we approached the brother and he's like, he's got to stop doing this. And the brother tried to get through to him in his own language, but he said it doesn't register in the brain. He just doesn't seem to understand. right? No matter how much you tell him. It's just something he thinks it's a kindness act, but he's ripping up plants, stealing plants, trespassing, making suggestions to these younger girls, teenagers, etc. So it's got to stop, because being teenagers with lots of friends, he might get attacked one day, right? Beaten up, and we don't want that sort of thing. We care about people. Feel sorry for that guy. He's got that problem. He's slow. He doesn't know the language, etc. So somebody's got to deal with it. Housing New Zealand won't deal with it. Or calling it order, right? The landlady thinks it's a joke, that we're making it all up. Well, this sort of stuff. So, in sum, we're trying to raise funds where we can do that. Okay, we're not trying to hoodwink anyone, but there's just no other way that we can get help to keep this guy off the property, because this guy abusing one of the daughters years ago, she has issues. Right? She can't look at him, so she gets really wants to kill him. But we've got her under control with that. She can't do that. So basically, what we want to do is put up these big screens, because the thing is, we're not allowed to adjust or adapt to or add to the building, the residence, right? It's part of the contract rules, right? We can't do anything like that. We get charged for it, or something like that, right? Legally or whatever, through the courts, or whatever, or through them, their lawyers. So we're going to put up all these protection screens so she doesn't have to look at this guy at all. We can't stop him walking down the driveway to his house, to the letterbox, which he does quite frequently, but we're trying to stop him from walking across the property. We tell him, don't come across the property, you'll get done for trespassing, but it just doesn't register up here in his brain, because he's slower like that. Okay, he likes to be friendly, he likes to talk, all that sort of stuff. So we try to get on with him, but it's just for these girls, younger girls' sake, grandchildren, etc. We want to keep them off the property. The property is so big that if we buy those products, it's going to cost us $2 to $3 grand, right? Because they're like $25 to $99 to do that. We've got to stop them from peeking through the back fence. It's wooden, it's got gaps, or standing in the rain, peeking over the side fence behind our garage. Okay, this sort of stuff. Okay, you stop people from jumping the fence to steal the vegetables or pinch the flowers. That's what they do around here. Okay, so we're trying to get funding for that specific reason. We're not trying to hoodwink or scam anyone. Okay, I wish we could provide footage of this guy, but I don't know if that's a privacy breach or whatever. So that's basically us. Okay, thank you for your time, and please help us